All right, so just kidding. You know Night Court? Do you remember Night Court? There was this one episode where there was this guy, some small, old, homeless, kind of mentally ill dude. There was a couple of them, and they went around together. There was a loud, brash one. And at the end of the episode, the little guy said, like, stop! And everybody stopped, you know? And it's like, this guy hadn't spoken a word in, like, 60 years, you know? And it's like, I got something to say. And it's like, oh, I bet he does, you know? And then he gives some cheap-ass speech, right? Well, this is exactly like that, except for the cheap-ass speech part. And I know the audio is shit. I'm getting an echo from somewhere, and fuck it, I can't figure it out now. I had something to say. So the second virtue is devotion, obviously. It wasn't teasing. I actually forgot the second and third ones. Devotion is actually interesting because it's kind of the same thing as obedience, but in a way it's the exact opposite. And I think the easiest way to sum it up is Pepper Potts in the first Iron Man movie. At the point in the movie when well before Robert Downey Jr. ever showed any romantic inclination towards her, when she actually acted like a goddamn secretary, and she was tossing out the fucking hypocritical blonde bimbo from the night before, who was all principles and high and mighty until Tony Stark flashed his pearly whites at her and she hopped into bed with him. Whores will be whores. But the thing that Pepper Potts said was, it's like, oh, the famous Pepper Potts. I see you still picking up the dry cleaning for Tony Stark. And she said, I do anything and everything that Mr. Stark requires, including occasionally taking out the trash. And it's like, yes, that's devotion. Like, I get it that immediately disappeared from that movie universe forever. And it was the last time anybody even talked about the fact that scene occurred. And really, that was more about her asserting her power over a rival female who had entered into her space, rather than any show of actual devotion. I understand all of that. But my point is, that's what devotion sounds like. It is the act of living your life to straighten the paths of another. There's that quote from John the Baptist, like, I come to straighten the paths of the Lord. And I always found that really admirable. And it's a tradition in, certain... Buddha had Ananda, his attendant. And it was, it was like, it is my lot to carry the cup and bowl of my Lord. And it was actually like, Ananda's story was tragic. It was, in a way, all Buddhist stories were tragic. I feel like Buddhism was sort of a radical dedication to reconciling with horror. Like, Buddhism was all about going into that horror, because in that horror there was peace. To sort of embrace the horror of life rather than run from or submit to it. Does that make sense? I mean, it must have been a terrible time in the world. It usually is. if we're honest, like, it really seems like most of history was us fucking up. But, because devotion can be misused, which was my point all along. The fact that you are devoted does not mean that the person will be worthy of your devotion. But I find that if you subject a person to devotion, that person will become worthy of it. It's a very great power, and I think that it's something that any one person has a limited amount of. I feel like there's only so much of that you can do before you burn out. So you have to kind of like be upright on your own. But what was it? There was a I don't know, a slogan, a rhyme that I wrote a while back, and it was, I want a woman who thinks of me as a god, so she can treat me like a hero, so I can act like a man. It's like, yeah, like, do I want a woman who worships the ground I walk on? Like, hell yeah. Because I'll start trying to act like I actually deserve that. And, I might be able to pull off something. It's not nagging. There's so much nagging these days. It's part of life. Like, why is that? Why do we nag instead of just discuss? I mean, you nag a child, right? You nag someone, and I hate to say this about modern women, but you nag someone you don't listen to. Like modern mothers, they don't listen to their children. It's like, God damn it, have a conversation with the kid. Like, have you not figured that out? Kids are fascinating. I like them, and I don't mean it in that way, okay? I'm really pissed off at all the goddamn pedophiles because I like kids. I want to be a teacher, a kindergarten teacher or something. They're amazing at that age. They're always... So yeah, I guess that concludes the talk on... Oh, you're kidding me, man. 6 minutes. 6 minutes and 30 seconds. I gotta go longer. I can't. Fuck it. Fuck it. What else about devotion? Oh, Jesus. I would have missed this. There's a really fascinating contrast between devotion and obedience. Because obedience is energy negative. See, right? Like, if you're the master, then you're controlling her. You're doing sort of the work of living two lives. Devotion is the opposite of that. Devotion is her sort of adapting herself. It's predictive, right? Like, she does things to make her master's life easier that her master will never notice. But in doing that, she has made his path straighter. Maybe he can go a little farther. It's the radical acceptance of the idea that this person who I am serving matters more than me. And the most that I can add to the universe is to serve this person. Like, it's not, that does not say that, like, the woman is worthless. It says, like, look at this man who I have joined myself to. One of the worst things in the Disney movies, I remember this, one of the worst things about it, Beauty and the Beast, right, which was really the second of the major Disney era. But Beauty and the Beast, you had Beauty, or Belle, and she was, I hated her. I hated her so much. I hated her so much. I hate Disney. But the point is, she was a strong character, right? Look at the guy that she ended up marrying. Because he was powerful. He was terrifying, right? That guy could rip animals apart with his hands. And not only did that not frighten her, it didn't even put her off. Like, she was able to see past that, to the man behind it. Like, girls don't do that. Like, that's a lie. That's false advertising. That used to be a thing that happened. It doesn't happen anymore. And that's why devotion is important. Because devotion will lead you to give the benefit of the doubt in a situation that you could very easily just cry, run screaming to Twitter because your feelings are hurt. And he touched a no, and it's just like, God damn it, can you please just, we're all adults. Can we be adults? If you have emotional problems, tell me. We can work on them together through BDSM. It's very fun. Just don't be a cunt. Sorry. One of the horror stories of my mind is that, like, I do a consensual BDSM session with a girl, which has never happened, by the way. Like, I'm not, but I would like to someday. There was a girl who actually kind of suggested that I spank her once when I was in Noir Leather in Royal Oak. She was the only clerk there. It was a slow day. I ended up deferring, but I kind of wish I hadn't, man. Like I know how to spank people. Like you go in hard, like you're aiming for the womb, if that makes sense. Like you're swinging for the womb, and like the ass is just in your way. And they gotta feel it. They gotta feel it all the way through their body. Oh God, that's horrible. Sorry. Yeah, I got a very nasty spanking when I was a kid. Do I go into that here? Let me see. 10 minutes, man. Nope, sorry. You didn't get to hear that party trick this time.